Hi Sylvia. All right, I'm going to explain this problem for you using this fancy new recording mechanism that I found. It's an option on Macs. If you're ever interested, you just go here, new screen recording, and you can talk and do things like this. So it's a pretty exciting day for me. Anyway, let's get right to it. So this chapter is all about decision making, and pretty much you're just applying the same concept of determining avoidable costs and then seeing if it's worth it to a bunch of different situations. Now, one of the situations we're asked to deal with turns out to be the sell or process further decision, and that's what's happening in this problem. So basically, the main concept from the chapter is determine your avoidable costs, and those are going to be relevant costs because it's I'm choosing to do product A versus product B. What are the avoidable costs and benefits of choosing A versus B? You just apply that over and over to everything in the chapter, and that's kind of how you come to it. So with that in mind, let's turn our attention to the problem here. So basically what's going on is you got these potatoes, and then they get peeled. And after you peel them, you're left with these two what's called intermediate products. You have peels and then spuds. Now what you can do is you can just sell the peels as is for $24. You could also just sell the spuds as is for $34. Or you could take the peels and you could turn it into a cocktail of nutrients. Oh, sorry, I'm realizing this isn't the best graph. But yeah, so you can take the peels and you can turn them into a cocktail of nutrients, which then gets sold for $48. Or you could take your spuds, which can turn into French fries, and you can sell those for $55. But you don't have to. So the question really at hand is, should I sell it as is or process further? Now, what is our avoidable costs? It is the processing further, because that's relevant in our decision of should I sell it or should I not sell it. Because if it costs more to process it further than it does to just sell it as is, right? Why would we sell it? That doesn't make any sense. We'd be losing money. So what's not relevant is the peeling in the potato business, because those are joint costs. Joint costs are incurred no matter what, right? To get the peels or the spuds, you gotta have a potato and you gotta peel it. So that's kind of how that works. All right, so that's enough jab. Now let's go to A, and this one, all we're asked to do is total pretty much everything up and see how much does the company make from processing a batch of potatoes. And they say processing is the key word. So they're asking us, once it's all said and done, right? We've talked about this, we've talked about that. We've made peels. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to process it further. So this is after it's incurred all those costs. So we know that the combined sales value is going to be the total of the cocktail of nutrients selling price, which is $48, and the French fries, which is $55. That totals to $103. And then we just subtract all the costs associated with getting to those end products from $103. So we notice the cost of a potato peel is $35, or cost of just buying the potatoes is $35. To peel them, it's going to be $19. And then the processing is $43. Why? Because it costs $14 to process a cocktail of nutrients and $29 to process French fries. So our total cost is $97. 103 minus 97 is $6. Now, this is pretty fucking useless for us when it comes to our seller process further decision. That's because it doesn't tell us, because all the costs are allocated in that. You notice how we just, our processing costs, we added those together to get 43, right? Well, we can't tell which is which for for either, and we can't tell the margins on each product. So what we really need to do is keep these things separate, which is where problem B comes into play. So it's asked if the intermediate products should be sold as is or processed further into the end product. So now we're getting somewhere. So let's start with the peels, which I've already done most of it. So selling price after processing, that's $48. Okay, sales value at the split off point. The split off point is basically the as is price. Like if I was to just sell it as the peeled sprouts or whatever it was, then you'd make $24. So 48 minus 24 is 24. So in other words, incremental revenue, you're going to make $24 off processing further. Now, that's only if this is greater than what it costs to process it further. And it turns out that's the case, because it costs $14 to process the cocktail of nutrients. So we subtract this from that, and it turns out we have a profit of $10. So that being the case, our peels are going to be a major go. Now, what about the depeeled sprouts or spuds? I don't know. Let's see. Selling price after processing is $55. So you say, oh, $55, that's real nice. But what's its as is? Holy shit, $34. That's kind of steep. So now we just, like we did before, we do this guy minus this guy. And we actually only make $21 on turning it into a fry. So is it worth it? And it's only going to be worth it if we can cover our processing costs. What are our processing costs? Oh, it's $29. And what do you know? 21 minus 29. You can't do that in Excel, apparently. You can, actually. You can. -8. So we're losing $8. So what's our conclusion? Our conclusion is, don't be stupid. Just sell it as a depeeled spud and just move on with your life, right? Don't process it into fries. Even though fries are good, it's just not worth it in this scenario. So, yeah. Anyway, Sylvia, I hope this explanation was good for you as it was for me. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye-bye.